Sorry. Okay. My name is Lois Ifo Otiwa Dante. I'm a PhD student at the Open University studying engineering and innovation, focusing on materials for wastewater treatment in Ghana. Kwame, I see you. You say you're watching from Ghana. Good, lovely. Share our platforms, share our pages so somebody could benefit. So today, today, we are going to be talking about GDI scholarship. And how did I even find out about this scholarship? Trust me, I was just on LinkedIn surfing through the internet, and because I'm subscribed to a lot of like scholarship portals, I thought this pop up as scholarships. Say you can study in Manchester on a fully funded scholarship. I'm like, whoa, when did this, scholarship come into place? It will be good to know. So they had a session, I think that was hosted by one of our speakers. Just joining, and I just decided to put all of them together to actually speak to us again on this particular scholarship. I think that if my memory serves me right, the deadline for the application is somewhere in the middle of April. I think they'll talk about it more, but I don't think it's quite a cumbersome process. We'll find out soon, pretty soon. So if you really, really have all your documents ready, you can submit it and get your application ongoing. So today, I have with me four amazing speakers, and I think they're going to do the introduction themselves. But I have Nana Fredua Agyeman with me here. Hi, Nana. I have Sylvia Nyarko. I have Kwame Asamoah Kwarteng. And I have Justin Tusoe. I mean, for some weird reason, I've called him a lot of names transitioning, Justin especially. I think on one of our flyers, we had his name as Emmanuel. Another time I was calling him John. I don't know what, for today, I got the name right. So I'm super excited about it. Hi, guys. You're welcome to Dear Young Graduates and talking about the GDI scholarship. So I think that I'll quickly hand over to Fredua. Give us a quick introduction of yourself. So you're going to go in that order, like I mentioned the names. Just give us an introduction of yourself, probably where you went to school and how you transitioned into having this scholarship.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And apologies if you can hear like a lot of music in the background. We're having a wedding party at home, so forgive me. Socially distanced, I should say. So my full name is Nana Fredua Agyeman. I completed my master's at the University of Manchester last year. I read development economics and policy. Currently, I double as the postgraduate officer at the University of Manchester Students' Union. That basically means that I represent all masters and PhD students in the university. So sort of like the SLC in the UK, what we call SLC in Ghana. It's the equivalent of that. And I also serve as one of the members of the board of governors at the university. What else was I supposed to say?
I think that how you transition, like what school did you go to in Ghana, your uni, what did you study, and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll shout out to everyone who attended Prempeh College. I'm an Amanfoɔ, so we'll start from there. We can see some haters on the call already, but that's fine. So shout out to all Amanfoɔ. I attended Prempeh College where I read business. Then from there, the system failed me. I like to say that a lot. The Ghanaian education in China with 7 A's and a B. So I was quite disappointed, but I was supposed to get into tech to read actuarial science, but as God would have it, I ended up studying in China, Wuhan University, where I read economics and finance. So from there, I went back home to work for a year with Enterprise Insurance. That's why I did my national service. Then from there, I transitioned to the UK to read development economics and policy. So yeah, that's what the journey has been so far. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm glad to be here, Lois. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming as well. Over to you, Sylvia.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. So my name is Sylvia Nyarko, and I graduated from the University of Manchester in 2019, and I read management and implementation of development projects. We need to take our time because it's a really long name. So In short, it's called MIDP. And I went to Notre Dame Girls Senior High School in Sunyani in Ghana. And then I got to Kwame University of Science and Technology, and I did BSc Human Systems Impact. So after that, I did my national service as a teaching and research assistant at the development department, and I decided to do MIDP in the University of Manchester because I've always wanted to not only plan or go into policy, but actually get to the field. And the University of Manchester had this project management course, which blend both the business side, development side, and the engineering bits, which was really interesting, very attractive to me. And it was in line with what I really wanted to do. So I decided to apply. And thank God, we were the first batch for the GDI Merit Scholarship. Basically, yeah, that's what I did to get to the university.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sylvia. So over to you, Kwame.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Kwame Asamoah Kwarteng. Yeah, so I also completed University of Manchester 2019. I pursued my master's in, okay, mine too is very long, international development with a focus on globalization, trade and industry. So maybe if you forget, you can still remember Alan Chemantin's ministry. That's exactly the course I came here to do. Yeah, so before the, and I'm also the general secretary equivalent to the president for the students union, and I was re-elected, so I'm here with Nana, working here within the students union. I think before GDI, my educational journey hasn't been that smooth. Okay, so I haven't been too intelligent like the rest in getting extremely good grades. So I started with Kumasi Polytechnic. I went to Kumasi Polytechnic to pursue H&D marketing for 3 years. And then, I started work. I went into the corporate world to work within the telecoms industry. And yeah, 3 years down the lane, I decided to pursue my bachelor's degree. So I was working while schooling at the same time, going to school in the evening. So I went to GEMPA for 3 years to pursue Bachelor of Science degree in project management for 3 years. And yeah, so it was afterwards that, I came to GDI. But then the reason why I came to GDI was mainly on the fact that for 4 years, I was working on cocoa related projects. So, sort of establishing cocoa plantations, project development for cocoa processing companies, and also cocoa, chocolate manufacturing companies. So I was doing a bit more of the research side and also the project development of these projects. And then also being a son of a cocoa farmer, I got to, I saw certain puzzles that was confusing me. I wasn't understanding why, Ghana was the second largest producer of cocoa, and then when it comes to chocolate, we are very insignificant in terms of the consumption, and then we are not producing the chocolate and all those kind of things. So it was puzzling to me. So that was the reason why I went to University of Manchester to go and study globalization, trade and industry, so that I can understand how the global trade is, what really goes into industrialization and all those kind of things. Yeah, so yeah, I was also part of the first batch, so I came here with Sylvia and Justin.
Okay. Yeah, vivid explanation, well detailed. Okay, Justin, over to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Justin Tusoe. I completed University of Manchester in 2019. So I was part of Sylvia and Kwame, who were the pioneers of the Global Development Institute Merit Award. I did Development Economics and Policy, and I think that's the same course Nana Agyeman did. And before I went to Manchester, I had my secondary school education at St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary in Wa, and then I got admission to KNUST to pursue economics. After that, I got to do my national service at the Ministry of Finance, and then I was at the research department, economic research and forecasting division, and we were in charge of doing research to inform policy, government policy, basically. And then the reason why I applied, I realized that Global Development Institute, one of their major aim is to tackle global poverty. So I use that trend because if you look at the Millennium Development Goals, what happened was that Ghana achieved the Millennium Development Goals of having poverty by 2015. But if you look at the regions of the north, that particular goal was not achieved. So that was what I used in my, essay.
So I think that I'll start with Kwame. Kwame, what do you think? I think were some of the documents, I mean, the processes you had to go through to get this scholarship? Like, think about it. Somebody is very novel to it. GDI scholarship. What were the documents? What were the processes? What did you need to get together to be able to apply for this scholarship?
I think GDI Merit Scholarship is one of the most simplest scholarship one can ever apply to, because you don't have to apply for admission separately from the scholarship. You apply for the scholarship, and if you win, you automatically gain admission. So it's like, that's how simple it is. And then yeah, so you would need to provide your English proficiency document. So, God being so good, you could use your WASI, and then I think you're supposed to have at least B3, and then you could use the IELTS, and then you should have at least, I think, 6.5 for each of the 4 areas of the testing. So yeah, so you have to provide the English proficiency, and then you should also have at least a second class upper. I think during our time, you're supposed to have had a first class instead, but then now they've included second class upper to it, which is great. And then you are supposed to also submit, I think, 2 reference letters, one from the professional side and one from the academic side. And then the core thing is your personal statement. So when it comes to your reference, you're supposed to make sure whoever that is sending you the reference does it on the official letterhead, and then you make sure they sign and stamp it. You make sure they sign and stamp it. So that goes for both. And then for the academic side, it will be good to find, let's say, maybe your supervisor, your project work supervisor, or like a lecturer that you got an A or something in his or her class, so that they can, so that at least, because I mean, the lecturer is supposed to write what he or she knows about you. Is supposed to write about how you participate in class discussions, and then how you contribute, and how intelligent you are, and all that. Which, yes, because that's supposed to be from the lecturer side of things. So if you get the one that supervises your dissertation, and maybe you got an A again in your dissertation, then you're looking at using your dissertation and the module that lecturer taught you in class, so that the lecturer can use those two to give you a very good reference. And I mean, the same with your workplace too. You find, either your manager or the HR who can really say nice things about you in terms of how hard you work, your punctuality, and then the projects you work on, and all that. Yeah, so I think when it comes to the person, which is the big thing that usually we'll say is the big thing. Personally, for me, I don't know, I am not a school academic type. So when I was writing my personal statement, it was more of a reflection of frustration that I was experiencing within the cocoa sector. So that is how, so my presentation was very straight to the point. I started with me not understanding some of the, the fact that we produce more cocoa beans, but then we are very insignificant, or we don't even have a name in terms of chocolates and all those kind of things. So I started with things like that. But then there were some 5 key points that I used as a framework in writing my personal statement. I'm not going to say when you use it, it's going to work for you, but at least that's what I use. So if that was the reason why they picked me, then maybe it can also enhance your chance of winning. So first, I identified a developmental problem, because this is Global Development Institute, like Nana said. So there should be a developmental issue you've identified in Ghana. So I identified that problem. And then secondly, that problem needed to be linked with my professional experience where I am working, so that there can be some sense of authority and it will be believable and you can actually sort of defend it. So that puzzle needs to be linked with the industry you are currently working in. And then again, you now have to find the GDI program, the master's program, and make sure that providing a solution, like the master's program can provide a solution to that puzzle, or can help you understand the puzzle more, or can help you just explore that problem. I'm sure, Lois, you are doing PhD, right? PhD helps you to understand the challenge rather than, let's say, automatically providing a solution to it. So things like that. So that could be the third part. Then when you have done that, the question is, why did you select University of Manchester? So you have to provide some sort of justification why you chose University of Manchester other than any other university. The program that I did, it was very easy for me to justify, because mine, University of Manchester, is the only university in the world that actually offers international development with a focus on globalization, trade, and industry. So it meant that if it's not them, there is no school that is providing that. So for me, that was my justification. And also I talked about, the fact that they have Nobel laureates. I think they have over 15 Nobel laureates. And then it actually indicates the research strengths the university have. And so because I was seeking to explore the puzzle within the cocoa sector, then it meant that because they had that huge strength in research, then that one supporting, the fact that that course is, they are the only ones offering that course, was the reason why I came there. So that was my justification for selecting the university. Yeah, so those are the key
areas you highlighted, in the personal statement. I think that we take more about that. I'll probably throw a challenge on how we would frame something like something in engineering. So think about that. I think that I was involved in a conversation. Someone said that how to even market it stuck with me. A cupboard boy could be that I was somebody who was responsible for handling the books in the class and arranged them based on gender. Arranged them based on latecomers.
It's all about packaging.
It's all about packaging. I'm like, was that just a cupboard boy? Like, how could you do something like that? And he was like, yeah, it's about how you market. I mean, all the thematic areas that are trending in the world based on the SDGs. You can actually arrange a very common, something deemed common according to that. That's how you want to write and package it. So I think that we'll talk more into that. I think that there's a bit of light out around. Justin, are you experiencing some light out? I think Sylvia just sent it to me as well. Do you have that as well?
No.
Okay,
here, lights is on.
He just likes the dark.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, Justin, so over to you. How do you think when you saw the GDI opening scholarship, the processes, obviously I think Kwame has spoken about it, but in other words, what documents did you gather and how did you target that particular scholarship when you were applying for it?
Okay, thank you very much. I think before I applied for GDI, I had already applied for a lot of scholarships, I must say, and I was bounced like so many times. We regret to inform you that your application was not successful. I mean, that statement, I saw it a number of times. So in fact, GDI I think it was the last one before I'll give up. Yeah. And so when I think a friend of mine sent it to my WhatsApp. And then when I saw it, I decided to give it a try. In fact, when I applied, the application process was so simple, as Kwame said, that I thought it was not even true. In fact, when I was applying twice, I mistakenly submitted twice without completing the process. And I had to send them an email that this is what have happened. And they asked me to apply again and submit my documents. So I will just go straight to my essay. I think Kwame have said everything. So the problem I used, because before I applied for the scholarship, I had to go to the website and read about the course and what the course can offer me. And then I realized that one of the main functions of GDI is the fight against global poverty. So I decided to write an essay around that area. So what I did was, I researched on the Millennium Development Goals. The first goal was to eradicate poverty by half, to reduce poverty by half. And I realized that Ghana, we actually met that condition. But meeting that condition was only in 7 regions out of 10 regions. And I started the Ghana Living Standard Survey, GLS6, which stated that about 2.2 million people in the northern and upper regions are still living in extreme poverty. So I wrote an essay around that area, and I stated why I think that. And don't forget, by that time I was working at the Ministry of Finance. So the Ministry of Finance, you plan policy around poverty reduction, inequality, and other things. So I decided to write my essay around that area, and I stated how I think that when I studied in the University of Manchester, it will give me the skills that can enable me to advise government on policy issues, you understand, that can lead to reduction of poverty. So I think that was how I went about my essay.
I think that it sounds so pretty like, I mean, this is the question to ask. Maybe Sylvia, you can take a while to answer. What do you think will be the length of your personal statement? What should your personal statement length be? Sylvia, so over to you. How was the process like for you? Why did you choose to apply for it? What were the documentations you had to put together? And how did it lead to you getting that scholarship?
Okay, thank you very much, Lois. Sorry, everyone, I have a blackout, so you can't see my face, but you can hear my voice. All right, so the first question about personal statement, how long? I would just say leave it to 1 page. Leave it to 1 page. Yes, because we have a lot of people applying and they don't want to read long, not ending essays. So 1 page is enough. Yes. Yeah, so how did I apply? Okay, so for me, I also started looking for scholarship and all that. Actually, I got 2 scholarship opportunities, but I decided to go with GDI. That day, I think I got Commonwealth Share Scholarship at Newcastle University, but I just didn't go there because of what I wanted to do. So with GDI, I just saw it on Facebook, and the first time I thought it was not true because it looked so simple for me. It was just like, I think I just used 5 minutes to apply because I decided to apply for master scholarship. I did my research and get my documents together before, and all of the scholarship sort of asks for the same document. So make sure you have your CV well prepared, in the sense that I think GDI do not have a particular format, but if you're applying to any scholarship, you need to check with the format that the school asking you to do. And I have my transcript, and I have my certificate, my degree certificate, and I had my personal statement too, and I had my English proficiency. So GDI was asking you to add your IELTS or whatever, but I told myself I'm not going to write any exams. I'm not going to write any English exams because I don't see the need, because I learned English right from my primary school to the university. So I remember sending them an email that, okay, so I am in Ghana and English is my formal language or official language, and I have my BSc results, which I did very well. So if you can ask my WASI results instead of writing.
Are we missing Sylvia?
IT challenges.
Yeah, I guess so.
It happens.
It's rainy.
It's
It's
already
raining in
raining.
Accra, so I think maybe that's why.
Oh
It's
my
raining.
days. Oh my days. Sylvia, just give me a shout in the chat box section if you can hear us. Okay, so I think that we've been clarified that the moment you apply for the scholarship straight away, you get the admission. One of the questions, okay, just like I was saying, so what do you guys think? I know you've been part of the admission board. How do you think the personal statement, what page should you think the personal statement should be? Kwame, yeah.
Yeah, I think they usually, UK and how they tell you the number of words you're supposed to write. So I think they have the number of words your personal statement should be the limit. So I think it's 500, I think. And I think 500 is like,
it's 500.
Yeah, 500, yeah. Yeah, and that is one thing. Here is about words. They tell you the number of words, not necessarily the pages. But I think Sylvia was talking about your one good thing with the GDI is that they will tell you your CV can be as detailed as possible. And for me, because this scholarship is going to be highly competitive, you are supposed to put all your guns on the table. You get it. You put all your guns on the table. Your CV should be highly prepared. Every single achievement that you have had, for me, even if it's from primary school, you have to list it.
Yeah.
You know, if you received any award for anything, if you have been a leader, because GDI is a development of institute that is looking at producing global leaders. And so they are not just interested in academics alone. To see something extra. And then you remember that you can come with first class. Someone else, we may have more than 5 people who will come with first class. So it means first class alone doesn't make you competitive. So it means that there should be something else that is a bit different, that sets you apart from the other person. So I would say that your CV needs to be extremely detailed. It should have all the achievements you've had. The way you're saying that you sell yourself, all of them, you have to write it. I used to sell ice water when I was a young person, but I wrote not for GDI one. I mean, when I was doing such my first, I had a good way of interpreting ice water selling on my CV that got me a job. So yeah, basically I think your CV needs to be very detailed. Get your references to write something a bit more personable and believable. Your personal statement needs to be believable. That's the whole thing. Like when somebody reads it, the person wants to know more. So it doesn't have to be about poverty. Remember, this is a merit scholarship. It has nothing to do with you not having money and your mother being poor and all those kind of things. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It is about what developmental problem have you identified? Like, how did you identify it? Was it because of your profession, the number of working experience you've had in that sector? And then how does the master's program that you want to apply, how can it help you to either contribute to fixing that problem or contribute to exploring that problem further? And then, you know, just also looking at why University of Manchester. Like Sylvia said, I also got 3 scholarships and I had to choose GD. I got that a full scholarship with the University of Liverpool for project management program and project management, and also another one with Aberdeen as well. But I wasn't the type that was applying for scholarships. No. So for me, I applied for 3 schools with that 3 scholarships and I got all of them. So, and for me, I think it was all about writing a very believable personal statement. I didn't copy anything from the internet. I just wrote my frustrations there.
Yeah.
That was just it. Yeah.
Justin, what do you think? Do you think that your experience?
Just to add what.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just to add to what Kwame said about you know, there are some people that write these days. I do read people essays a lot, and sometimes there's difference between merit scholarship and scholarship that is for brilliant but needy students. This particular scholarship is a merit scholarship, which means that those that they are going to select is going to be based on academic and professional competence. It doesn't, you don't have to be poor to get it. So if you are rich and you are able to demonstrate some level of excellence, you get it. If you are poor and you think that writing the essay, you put some that, oh, I've suffered, and trying to explain how you suffered, it will not make any impact.
We've all suffered before.
You understand? And then the other part is the experience Kwame spoke about. Before I applied for this scholarship, I don't think I had a 3 years working experience. But what I did was, when I was at uni, during holidays, I used to act as a teacher. Like I used to teach economics and maths. So I kept all those things in my CV. That added up because it's a paid, although you can't call it an internship. It's a paid work. Because if you look at the requirement for the scholarship, they said you need to have 3 years working experience, and it should not be internship or any unpaid work. So if you have done internship, you should not, it's not part of the years count. So what I did was the number of years that I've acted as a teacher, and then my national service at the Ministry of Finance, I think I was there for almost 2 years. So I added it to my teaching experience. That gave me the 3 years working experience. So as Kwame said, any experience that you have, please put it there.
Yeah.
That's all I can say for now.
Yeah. I think before I come to Nana Fredua, if you want to add anything, Sylvia is back. Sylvia, do you want to continue from where you stopped?
Okay. Hello.
Yeah,
Sorry,
hi.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
So I think I gave the document that you need and everything. And I was about to talk about my personal statement, and unfortunately, I won't see my data yet. Yeah. So in writing your personal statement, to me, personal statement is very personal, and you have to reflect you, the person, because at a read, they should be able to know who you are, what your aims are, and your story. So basically telling them the story about why you need this particular scholarship. And as Kwame said, there are several aspects you need to talk about. So first of all, a bit about your journey to the university. What made you to study the course that you did? For instance, so for me, I remember telling them the story about wanting to do human settlement planning because of my visit to the country planning and how my area was. So I've always wanted to get into planning. So after planning and given the exposure and the experience I got in planning, which involved field work, research and everything, I now wanted to advance in my study. But at this point, I want to get to the field. I don't want to be into just drawing policies, because during our time, we used to go to the villages and the communities, and then you have one-on-one with the people that live there, get to know their problem and everything. So I think it was coming from a personal interest and drive to sort of help these people, and getting the policies on field or getting the policies implemented is through project management. And project management is not a master course that is usually sponsored by the university, because that is, if you do project management, it's a personal enhancement or personal skill that you're adding to your already acquired skills. And most development research schools like University of Manchester, they are not they are not much particular about enhancing you the person, but they are interested about making you become, for instance, maybe a development expert or what have you. So this management MIDP was the only project management. I mean, my research that I did online about getting sponsorship for project management was the only project management that was being sponsored. And it wasn't typical project management like the normal project management in the business field, which is basically about cost, quality, time, getting the work done, you get paid. This MIDP was sort of a blend of the development practice and engineering, and of course business school. So I was very interested in this course, because when you do this course, it's not just going to make you just a project management like a PMP certification or whatever you want, which I would say they are quite more like for the profit and the money. Yeah, but development will sort of give you that humanity when it's implementing projects and all that. So I sort of narrated the story in about three, for that session was about 3 or 5 paragraphs why I need that thing. So I sort of linked the planning to the importance of me doing MIDP and what I seek to do with the MIDP. And I remember telling them the story about One Dish One Factory. So One Dish One Factory, at my time, I don't want to say this because maybe when I apply for an aspect, they might not give me. At that time.
Then don't say it.
But of course, I had this genuine concern of changing my country and getting back to Ghana. But when it comes to Ghana, it's a whole different ballgame. But I need to tell them the story to get a scholarship. So the first thing, I wouldn't say I lied, but it was like my dream to get into this. So I identified the gap when it comes to project management in the government sector or the government field. So project management is more other organization stuff. But when it comes to the government side, it's maybe Kwame will do global whatever. What's your course, Kwame? globalization, international trade, that long course, and maybe
Yeah.
another two will do his course in development economics, but they don't really have some expertise with that. For them, project management is just about getting the work done. But I saw that it's more about just getting the thing done. But there are other components that they lack in it, especially with stakeholder engagement and the whole process cycle. So project management in the government is more like a default. Like the fact that you can coordinate and link, and you just implement the policies or the project that the government bring on board. So if they give me this scholarship, I will be that person in the government sector to help them sort of implement this idea. And Ghana government is lacking this kind of expertise or the experts in the field. If they want a project management, a project manager, they need to have the services. So me, as a development background, looking at one district, one factory, I sort of highlight on the gap in the government sector because the government people want to hear how you are going to come back to your country and then help in the development agenda in your country. And I told them that when I get this scholarship, I'll become the project manager in the government sector and I'll be able to supervise this one district, one factory, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I'm not doing that now. But exactly that's what I told them.
Yeah.
And make sure when you start, I wouldn't say when you're supposed to be very consistent in your personal statement. They should see the flow, the logic into whatever you want to do. You don't want to start as a business person and then you end as a developer. Well, you can have diverse skill, but you should always find the link between all the experience that you've acquired, and then you can write that nice story they want to hear. And everything was in one on one page. And obviously, I ended by telling them about how Manchester is the best university and in UK and how they have the facilities and how they are very practical in their learning. And of course, I wowed them with that. So that is how I wrote my personal statement. But you need to get a bit of passion of whatever course you want to do. Just don't want to lie there because if you get there and know what you like, you'll be so frustrated. Lois can tell you that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, that was vividly well explained. And I think that anyone that's here that's planning to apply would get a brief of how we are all gathering all concepts from different areas to actually channel your thoughts. If you have any questions, please do drop them in the chat box session and we'll be sure to answer them. So I think that I'll go to Nana Fredua and come. Do you think there are some common mistakes you've seen? Like Justin has spoken about it, one of them. I think, do you think that there are some common mistakes you see in people's personal statement or even in the application process that you would like for people to, know about?
Well, certainly that's not a question for me because I'm not in charge of
Yeah.
selecting who wins the scholarship. I wish that was my job, but it's not. I mean, I think when we had this session first, when I invited Kwame and Sylvia and Justin to speak, one of the things that they spoke about, so I think Sylvia spoke about it, was the grammar, the common mistakes that people make. Well, Kwame came in to say that, I made some grammar mistakes here and there, which is true. But the thing about scholarships is that, and particularly this year, is that there's only 3 seats. So the little mistake you make is going to go against you. So please, whoever listened to Kwame's advice back then and you think, you're not going to take your grammar mistakes seriously, please, please take your grammar mistakes. Please take your grammar seriously when you're writing your statement. One other thing that I think that people will also do is to undersell themselves, which is what Kwame has talked about. I think sometimes we're Ghanaians and most of us have come from that culture of being very timid. So we tend to undersell ourselves. And this is a conversation I have with Kwame all the time. So, Kwame, we're applying for something recently and Kwame came with a 6-page CV. I was like, Kwame, what's wrong with you? But I came with the 2-page because that's what, job employers have told us that you should have 2 pages. And so, Kwame was like, I'm not kidding here. Like, he put it down everything. And so I'll tell people, like, don't let anything discourage you from applying for the scholarship. Even if you got a 3rd class, there's something that will play to your favor. And they have a very I would suppose they have a very holistic approach at looking at scholarships. They don't just look at your grades and say, okay, we're done with you. They look at other things. And that's what probably worked in Kwame's favor when he applied. So do not undersell yourselves. Whatever thing that you did, which you think is insignificant, make sure you package it nicely and sell it. It's not insignificant. If you think it's insignificant, I don't know if any of you have seen that Fun Nice advert, but it's like super dope. There's this advert, and the way they sell themselves of what you're doing, it's so great. So like, don't undersell yourself. Write as much as you can, but please do not go beyond the word limits that you're given. Even in the UK, like when we were studying, anytime you went beyond the word limit, you were penalized for that. So that could go against you. Just stick within the rules and learn how to sell yourselves. And I'm sure that these these would be available to help you anytime, as long as you're ready to apply.
Yeah.
Can I add something to?
Yeah, Kwame. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Nana, like Nana rightly said, I think people have the perception about, if you're applying for a scholarship, you need to find intelligent, and there should have been some consistency in getting, Nana said he was getting 8 A's from Prempeh, you should have gone to Prempeh and all those kind of schools. I have my own issues with those kind of schools and all those kind of things. Yeah, because I didn't go to a good school. I shouldn't say good school. I didn't go to any of those A-class schools and B-class schools in Ghana. Ivy League senior high schools in Ghana. I didn't go to any of them. In fact, my senior high school, I was told that it has collapsed. So anyway, I don't even have a senior high school. So I have that one there. So I didn't get the best of grades starting school. So from BEC, I didn't get a good grade. Senior high school, I didn't get a good grade. Even at the Polytechnic too, I didn't get a good grade. Okay, so this whole scholarship thing, especially when you're applying for a scholarship that is directly from the school, the assessment is different from applying it from, let's say, Chevening and then the Commonwealth and all those kind of things, because usually they are not into the nitty-gritties of what you really want to come and study and all those kind of things. Usually it has a lot of things to do with publicity and links and all those kind of things. But then if you're applying directly to the university, they are more interested in, because they are the academic institution, so they are more interested in exactly what are you coming to study, what is the impact, what impact can you make with what you will study. So GDI is all about impact. And so myself, by my bachelor's degree, and I got first class in my bachelor's degree. So that's what I use in applying. So I was very good in my papers, sending it to them. So my document that went there was super. I didn't have to add any of the disgraceful ones to it. My English proficiency, for example, I knew I didn't get a good grade in English. So I didn't use my WASI. I wrote IELTS and I got a good grade in that. You get it? So, and I still felt that because it was a scholarship, how about if they see my science, which I might have had a D? Why do I want them to see my science and my math score? Because maybe if they are breaking the tie, and maybe, I happen to have the same grade with Sylvia, for example, for English, they want to find something, and maybe Sylvia did better. I am just assuming. So because it is a competition, I said, you know what? I am not going to let them see any of my 7 other grades, which were terrible. Yes, so I just went to write my IELTS, which I performed very well. And so I think it's about selling yourself. It's about adding the required. They don't add any other document if not requested from you. So I think say that a degree that you spend like at least 3 years. And so that is the opportunity with which I did not have to add my HND to it, which was horrible, So my degree was quite okay. But one other advice too has to do with, we have some people who apply for masters because maybe they are not getting a job in Ghana. Honestly, it is either you become very frustrated doing the course, even when you get it in Manchester, you're not going to enjoy it. Okay, so I think that apply for it because you deep down your heart, you feel like there is this thing you feel passionate about. That's when because Lois and the rest, you can be very lonely. It's not like Ghana where you can easily have friends and so just choose something that you're passionate about so that you can really enjoy your stay there.
Yeah, I said that I could read for some weird reason, I don't know whether it has to do with studying a bit in the UK, but I can read when two letters, one is passion driven, as compared to the other that's just, just putting points on there. Irrespective of whether you're lying or not, there's a certain level of passion that is written from a well-researched work filled with the statistics and current issues. Obviously, then we know that you're in with the trends. And obviously, if we are getting you on board, you can flow in the trends as much as possible. I think Sylvia, you wanted to come in with that as well.
Yeah, I think you've already said a lot about what I really want to say. So as my last said, and family but I am very particular about the personal statement because you don't have to be so abstract. It's you, and I'm emphasizing on it because I got the opportunity to read people's personal statement, and I was really angry about it. It appeared that they just copy. My dear, you don't know English than these people, so just try. And mind you, especially for those that they get selected for the scholarship, they keep their documents online. And if you anytime you submit your work, we put in the plagiarism test or whatever they call it, and we are able to know where you copied this from. So this is a secret I'm sharing because I got opportunity to work on these things in my previous job. So please be as personal as you can, but don't tell long stories. Just a brief summary. So you can write maybe the story, what made you here, then you summarize it in 3 lines and the others two in 5, and then at least a page should do. But please write simple English. Don't try to like you want to impress them with something and all of that because they know English than you and I do. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously check your errors because it's really annoying when I'm not all that brilliant when it comes to English. I obviously have grammar errors and everything, but I remember using Grammarly. It was free. So Grammarly is online, grammarly.com. When you set your work or your whatever document, you're able to check. We have the basic and the free one. They check your grammar and your sentence and your verb agreement with it. Because if you're not able to write properly, it doesn't. It makes it very difficult to read through. And if they can't read and are not getting it, as Lois is saying, they just push it somewhere and we move to the next person because we have over 5,000 people who are brilliant, are even more brilliant than you are. But what made you outstanding is your passion and your CV. So personal statement, please start early, write, rewrite, read over and over again, give to someone to read over again and everything before you submit. If you really want to get your masters, you want to check with spending more time than usual. So some people, if you just send them the link like, oh, get to the, then they're like, oh, can you write my personal statement? Really, it's about you. So please spend, it is a bit difficult and it's time consuming, but I think it's worth it. So please and please be very careful with the personal statement and the other document as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I've gotten a question. Someone is asking that he's a first undergraduate leaver. He just left undergraduate. Does he think he's eligible for it, the scholarship?
I think the scholarship is requesting for some work experience. I think so. This person, I don't know whether it's a he or a she, needs is a he, right?
Yeah.
So he needs to have working experience. But I think there is one other thing that we have to also be very, very cautious about. For your undergraduate, you can always, just get it wrong by studying any program that you want. But your master's, you don't have to get it wrong. So yeah. I personally would advise that, I know it's very hard finding a job in Ghana to do, but it is best when you have worked on something so that can actually drive, the research area where you would want your master's to focus you on, because it becomes very hard competing for this scholarship when it's already even asking for working experience. So you can imagine if somebody comes with 10 years working experience, the person can tell a very fantastic story. With how about you without any working experience? So yeah, so basically, because if you don't have it, it means you're not even meeting the requirements.
Yeah.
In the first place. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that we've rightly delved into it. I mean, this is one of I don't think I've ever seen a scholarship that comes off that easy in terms of application process. And nothing good even comes easy. So I mean, this is it might look as easy as possible, but very detailing as possible. So you do not want to do anything that is shabby and submit, because obviously there's no one in the village somewhere who is doing you for not getting the scholarship. It's just what it is, and you have to obviously, if it means that writing 500 words by taking breaks and going over it so many times, you have to do that. Don't think that because it's that easy, you're just going to do anything that you have to do, then just get away with it.